Hi guys.
Hello there. So I was thinking, first, welcome to another episode of a BJJ Marriage.
I think we're on 17 now.
Holy mackerels.
Doing this for over 4 months at this point.
That's super exciting. Yeah, we started in like January, right?
Well, 17 weeks later, here we are. I think
Wow.
we skipped a week too.
We did. Competition week where I hurt myself and was all sad in my feelings.
Yeah. But now we're recording on days throughout the week so that we can get something uploaded every Sunday for you guys to listen to.
Right. But I was thinking we need a theme song.
We need a theme song now.
Yes.
Oh boy.
What kind of theme song should
No,
we have?
we're not. No.
I mean, come on. Every cool podcast nowadays has a theme song.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
What kind of theme song should we have, audience?
Oh my
Our
goodness.
beloved subscribers.
Okay, whatever.
Whatever. Anything but country.
All I'm thinking about right now is Jetsons. Like, that's all I
Jetsons?
have in my head.
How does that theme song go?
I don't even know. That's the problem. I'm just thinking like, ba-dum-bum-bum, like something
Yeah,
like
right?
that.
I could just use that.
But that sounds so like showman-y.
Oh, that's fun. We're a show.
Are we?
Yeah.
No, we're just talking about jiu-jitsu because we want to.
What is any other talk show?
Talking about things because they want to, but that doesn't mean that we're a show.
Yeah, we are a show.
I don't know.
We're on the air. We're on the interwaves.
Alright, well,
We're on 5G.
as long as we're on asking for tips and advice on a freaking theme song.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what woke me up this morning in my thoughts? Like, the reason I woke up because I was thinking about it so hard?
What'd you wake up to?
How bad I wanted to get rid of our flower bed in the front. Like, I really just want to go in there with some gloves and rip it all up and
Our
put
flower
something
bed.
new in there. But I am not a gardener, so if you guys, anyone who gardens, and you know anything about this crap, because I don't even enjoy doing it. I'm literally thinking about hiring someone to do it because I just don't want to do it. But we have some rose bushes and some other plants out there. I don't even know what they are.
Some just ugly ass bushes.
Yeah, they don't look that great. And we can trim them all we want, but then we look like we're kind of in the middle of a desert with some flowers that don't bloom very well. I don't know. Like, the plants look like a desert.
Just because they're dead right now. Because
I don't think they're dead. They keep growing.
Yeah, but like they're not like in bloom, I should say, in
Well,
season or whatever.
I don't like them, and I would like to get rid of them and put something else there. So if anyone has any ideas,
I also don't want to put any work into our garden.
throw my way. Yeah, something preferably that I don't have to go out there and tend to and water. Like, I'm literally thinking about just digging it all up and putting some mulch down and calling it a day. But that doesn't look as pretty. So, anyway, pictures to come. Because I'm going to ask for advice. That's how I woke up this morning. I was like, I'm going to post on Facebook and I'm going to ask people who like to do this crap what to do. Because I have no idea. And Google's going to give me a million answers, so I'd rather have direction.
I woke up this morning too. We've got a lot of stuff to do today, Nick. You need to start right now. It is time to wake up.
We have a lot of stuff to do today.
Yes, I know.
I was too tired to record last night, and so we have to record this morning, but then we have a wedding, like, out in the middle of nowhere today,
Yes.
So we gotta drive, and it's gonna be a long day.
It's going to be awesome, though. I'm so excited for today.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun.
Yes.
I'm very excited. I get to wear a new dress, get to be outside, get to dance, get to drink, get to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a good day. Good fun times.
Yes. So to celebrate Jake and Allison, we're wearing our hubby and what?
Wow, what? What was that?
Huffy and wife.
Huffy and wifey.
Anna said we're wearing these cups.
Okay, we're changing the podcast name right now from a BJJ marriage to Huffy and Wifey.
Cheers.
Yeah, so we have a wedding today. We're very excited.
Hubby and wifey. Yes, sir.
We're gonna clean up real nice, going from gis to dress-up clothes.
And if you take a look at somebody's gi, something has changed. I'll give you 5 seconds.
What are you talking about? He's imagining our theme song right now.
Look, she's got another stripe. Woo! Congratulations.
Thanks. You too, my love.
Me
my
too.
My Huffy.
What are you congratulating me for?
You also got your 4th stripe. You just got it a couple weeks before me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so now we're both striped up. We got full ranks. Know what that means?
I don't want to be blue. That's scary.
Why is it scary?
Because, I don't know.
Is it not also a motivator?
It is a motivator, absolutely. But honestly, all I think about whenever I think about turning another color, whether it's blue, purple, brown, or black, I always go back to how I told myself I plan on competing at least twice at every belt. Oh. And now knowing that blue is coming around the corner, that means that I have to start thinking about competition within the next year, probably. And I'm sad about it because I don't like competing very much. But we're going to get there.
I love competing. Did you know that?
Is that what motivates you?
That's one thing that severely motivates me every time I go to the gym. So today our topic is what motivates you to train as much as you want to train.
Yeah, you know? Whether it's one time a month or whether it's 18 times a week.
Right.
Where do you fall on that spectrum? And why do you fall on that spectrum? Have you ever thought back and actually analyzed what you do with your time and in your daily basis? And have you ever thought about how, I'd like to train more, but I don't make the time for it, or I train too much and I really need to make some time for myself? Like, if you fall either on one of those ends or in the middle, do you ever think about why? And it's a big motivator key, which is what we're going to touch into today.
Yes. So I was thinking about this for a couple days, and there's a few things that motivate me to continue to train. And my number one motivator is I absolutely love competing. I think that it's super fun. We've talked about this before. It's a great way to put you out of your comfort zone. It's the best way to test your jiu-jitsu abilities against somebody else's jiu-jitsu abilities. And it really is an accomplishment whenever you're able to make the podium and say, look, I did this, I survived, I maybe submitted a couple people, I won a couple matches by points, whatever, I put it all out there, I trained really hard for this, and this was super fun, and it's a super fun moment. And one of the things I always tell myself is, if I'm available to go to this class, and I don't go, and then I end up losing a match, is it because of all those times I didn't go to class? And I always want to say...
You have that battle with yourself?
Yes, really? and I always say to myself, I'm going to train harder and more than any of my opponents.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you retain every single thing from every single class?
Yes.
Bull. I call bull right now.
Yes, I do.
No, you do not.
I'd say at least 80% of what goes on in class, I retain for later.
That's so interesting. I am not there.
Yes, like, I can remember specifically the 5 moves that Brett taught last night. And he taught 5 to me, 3 to everybody else.
Yeah. No, he taught 4. He taught 4.
But
I remember that because that was last night.
Right.
I do not remember stuff that Rob was teaching about De La Riva when I was a 1-stripe white belt.
I don't think Rob taught De La Riva.
It's a figure of speech.
Oh, but see, I can remember that.
Yeah. I guess.
Right? But I can remember specifically, like, Rob teaching standing guard passes, Rob teaching when you're standing in someone's De La Riva, if you back step enough, you can do a reverse triangle from standing.
Yeah, see, I guess my thing from retaining from classes is I don't retain, like, it's an hour worth of classes. We get through between 3 and 6 moves every single hour, depending on the speed of the class and the difficulty of the move.
Right.
But I would say I retain one thing from every class. Just one. I do not retain all of them at all, ever.
Yep, I can still remember everything that Master Sauer went through in our 3-day seminar.
Yeah, I only remember one thing from his seminar. And that's what I take with me, and I use it all the time. But I only remember the one thing. I don't even remember the other 5 things that he taught in his seminar.
Yeah, I would say that's how most people are.
Yeah.
But, like, for some reason, these techniques stick to me like glue.
That's good.
Which
You're
is
lucky.
Another reason I can use it all.
Mm-hmm. But you know, the crazy thing, and I think this is how it gets so nuts about how people don't understand brains, is that if I see a move, kind of like have you ever heard the saying that if you see someone's face, if you were to see them again in your lifetime, you may not recognize them, but your brain at least can analyze the fact that you have seen them once in your lifetime. Like, oh yeah, that face looks really familiar, but I don't remember where, when, or how I know them.
Right.
Like that kind of thing. That's how I am with a lot of jiu-jitsu moves right now, is that when I'm working with Dave on something, like even just yesterday, he was working on an Americana defense, and I was going to Americana him, and then he did this really cool defense, and I was like, I never remember to do that. Like, I know that that's a move. I know that you just did that. I know you just stuffed me, but I never remember to do it. And then when it went back and he started Americaning me, I did it right away because it was in my brain. It was fresh in my brain. But it was one of those things I'm like, I saw that literally 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've never used it until right now.
Yep. I still remember one class. So you're talking about as white belt, you obviously remember less than you remember as you further along. Yeah,
and I would say that as I'm getting higher up in my rank on white belt, I am remembering more. That's for sure. But
right. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I don't remember so much from white belt. All I remember is getting smashed and asking how to not get choked. But I do still remember specifically when I learned the pendulum sweep from Joanna, and in the church basement. I don't even know, your dad was just not there. I think she was just teaching pendulum sweeps. And I still remember that. And it's taken me a while to make it work in my rolling. Like, within the past few months, I've been able to hit pendulum sweeps easier.
Okay.
So that's 3 years later. But I still, remember that.
Yeah. Well, there's just like the paper cutter. We talked about the paper cutter choke probably 3 months or 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago or so. And I was telling him, I'm like, I remember learning the paper cutter when I was pretty new, but I don't remember any of the mechanics of it. Like, if I were to see someone doing it, I'd be like, oh, I think that's the paper cutter choke. But honestly, I couldn't remember at all. So then I had him show me, and you showed me how to do it pretty well. And then the other day, I was rolling with my dad, and I was in mount, and I started going for a paper cutter, and he's, sitting there closing with his chin, and he's like, what are you doing, Brittany? And I was like, well, I'm trying to do a paper cutter, because it's fresh in my brain right now. It's clearly not working. And then he's like, oh, I'm in danger. I'm like, well, okay, it could be working, just not on a black belt. Got it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it fun when you're rolling with someone, and they're just having a conversation with someone else?
Yeah. But going back, I think that's where I'm at right now. Is now I'm starting to remember every one of these moves that I did learn.
Yeah.
Because my dad describes it that by the time you're blue belt, you've probably seen everything at least once.
Most things, yeah.
And that goes back to the brain where it's like, okay, I saw that, but how long ago did I see that? How much can I really take out of that move? And I think that's where I'm at right now. Is I'm trying to remember every move that I've ever learned and figuring out which ones work for me.
Yeah, because we all have a different body type. Some things aren't going to work for you.
God, that thing Brett showed last night where you jump up and you take your shoulder and you knock him down. That was not my thing. Could not do it. I was getting so frustrated. I just started going for the close leg instead because I was getting irritated.
I wish I was working with you on it. But you kept taking Dave. You always pick your freaking jiu-jitsu husband over your real husband. This is some bullshit.
You're going to make some ladies real mad if you say that, because he's everyone's jiu-jitsu husband. He's even Miguel's jiu-jitsu husband.
He's a whore. Oh my God. Come to think of it, he might be my husband.
Yeah, he's your husband, Miguel's husband, Adam's husband, Ellie's husband, Tracy's husband.
Oh, I just got coffee in my nose.
Dave, we love you. And everyone loves training with you, and we're very happy that we are lucky enough to be able to work with you on a consistent basis.
Dave. We all absolutely love Dave.
Yeah.
Put a heart in the comments if you love Dave.
I was actually thinking about this last night, though, that I think one of my motivators, and don't get me wrong, I do love working with you. I love learning from you and training with you. But I think one of my biggest motivators is when someone that I know who is better than me, Dave, Ellie, Tracy, you, people like that, if I can work with you on a move that I'm not confident on, that motivates me, because then I know that by the end of my training session, I will have it down better than if I have to try to explain it to them. I don't really know it to someone else.
Okay, so you're talking about drilling it with somebody that understands it?
Yeah, so last night with De La Hiva, I know what De La Hiva is. I could probably explain it to a new person, but if I had to explain all those little tiny mechanics to a new person, we'd both probably be messing up. So that's why I always try to go with a higher belt on classes like that, because I also am still learning.
Absolutely. And you'll still be learning forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, beginner classes I always try to take new people because I know I can explain that stuff. But when it's not beginner classes, I have a good idea because I've seen it once, I've seen it twice. But it motivates me to work with a higher belt who can teach me so that I can continue on and teach other people.
Okay, so you like learning so that you can share your knowledge
Yes.
with the lesser belts?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it weird to say now that you're a 4-stripe white belt that people that are like a 1-stripe, a 2-stripe white belt are in a completely different league than you?
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was a no-stripe, 1-stripe white belt, I thought 4-stripe white belts were God. Like, holy crap.
So, me?
Yeah. Seriously. I remember I told Nick Bontempo the first time I met him when he was a blue belt and I was a no-stripe white belt, and I was like, you're like Jesus to me. That went way to his head. I should not have said that, because then for the next 6 months he was like, you said I'm really good, and I was like, well, compared to me.
Don't worry, we all have someone that can take us down a notch.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, that would be one of my biggest motivators, I think, is to get better, and the way to get better is to learn.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's why I go to every class. But yeah, I just love, everybody says you get better with mat time, right? Mm-hmm. So with every class, yes, I get more technique instruction. And yes, I get a shit ton more mat time. Mm-hmm. Because I go to, I wonder how many jiu-jitsu sessions I did last week.
A lot.
Over 20.
Okay, that's with personal training, though.
Yeah, that's with training people.
He's been picking up personal training a lot, which is really cool. And I think that's helping your jiu-jitsu a lot, too.
Not personal training, private jiu-jitsu lessons.
It's still personal training. I mean, it's not
personal jiu-jitsu training. Yeah.
But that's probably helping your jiu-jitsu a lot, too, because you're now having to
articulate.
Yeah.
Which everything. Is a crazy skill in jiu-jitsu that not everybody has. Because everybody knows, like, okay, if you know a pendulum sweep, you know how to do it. Would you be able to describe that pendulum sweep to a 5-year-old? If you can do that, you understand the technique.
We were trying to get the kids last night to coach each other through competition matches. That was not working. Oh my goodness.
They were like, that sucks.
How was your day? What did you do yesterday? Oh, yeah.
Don't get there.
Happened to me.
Oh, there's 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Or I think the first thing I said to them when I was like, you guys need to be coaching. And then one of them turns around and they're like, good job. And I was like, I'm going to smack you across the face. Oh my goodness. We stopped that real quick. I think we only got through 2 matches before I was like, all right, you guys I'm done with all of you. Go roll.
Yeah, the kids probably don't have the attention span or the knowledge to try to help out their teammates. The goal of it was really, though, to get them to have that competition feel of pressure of people watching.
Yeah.
Because that's a little different. Noise. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because honestly, them kind of sitting on the wall talking is what happens when you're in a match anyway. Right. Not everyone's going to be sitting there coaching you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I wanted them to see and actually have that competition feel, and it just was not working.
I think next time we have to give each person one coach, and then you tell them when they get points, and you tell them where they should go next, and how much time is left. Those 3 things.
So, like, have it be, like, groups of 4, basically?
Right.
So, like, 2 people are rolling.
And they each have one
coach. Okay. We could do that, because then they're all going to be busy, too.
Right.
And then if it's you, Thaddeus, and I, then there's 3. We could have 3 matches.
3 refs.
So then that's 12 kids. And there's not typically more than 12. So that should work out really well.
Yeah. Because then
Thaddeus.
You got to write it down.
Thaddeus is our new kids coach. So we are now working on training him on all the kids and their behavior and their names and what happens. Because we're now adjusting, not away, but more so letting him take on the lead role of it, and we'll still be there to help. Mm-hmm. So yesterday was his first time seeing a competition class, and normally Nick and I run it, but we were trying to let Thaddeus run it, but he's still learning everything because they're insane. The kids are insane. So I think it was actually Thaddeus' call where everyone was on the wall, and he's like, I don't think we should do this. We should just let them roll because they're not listening and they're not coaching. I was like, good plan.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fun. Everything's a learning process, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
But the kids motivate me too.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because ever since I started training kids, I've actually been really excited to go to kids class. Like, some people just hate kids and hate teaching kids because they're just animals.
My favorite kids are the ones you can give back to their parents.
Yeah. That's always nice. knowing
Yes.
that I don't have to take any of them home.
Yeah. Our fur babies are enough.
Yeah. You guys met them. Episode 14, I think.
Oh my god.
15. Jeez. They were
Yeah.
insane. But, yeah, I love teaching the kids, and I feel like it makes my jiu-jitsu better. And,
Yes.
honestly, some of our kids, man, are some of the sweetest little things ever, but they're monsters at the same time, which just make them such a happy little bundle, and I love being around them.
It was super cute yesterday when Natalie walked in the door, and then she ran up to you and gave you a big hug.
Yeah.
That was super cute.
Yep. She's fun. And then she's like, when are you coming to my house? When are we going to go get ice cream? When are we going to go do this? And I was like, just roll for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, you build up those personal bonds and relationships with them, too. Like, I've been close with Lewis even before I started training. Just because I was watching you, and I was there for my dad, and things like that, that I've known Lewis since he was a white belt, and now he's about to be yellow soon.
He is. He's getting close.
So it's been really cool to watch their growth and their momentum, and to also know that you have a part in it is really fun too.
And that's honestly a huge part of being a coach in jiu-jitsu in general. It's super motivating to teach a technique to somebody, and you know that they never knew that technique before. And then when you see them later on in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, in 2 months, use that technique, and you have that special connection with that person, like, we did this together.
Like Isaac in competition? Yeah, when you worked with Isaac. Steve, that was really cool. I know you were there, and I know you know what we're talking about, but...
Yes, that was an awesome moment. Isaac and I had a private lesson on takedowns and what to do from standing up, and he executed it perfectly in competition like a month later.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. And Lucas and I just did that this week, and he did it. I saw him do it in the competition roles this week, and I was like, yes, Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas.
You did it.
Lucas was kicking butt last night. Like,
Heck yeah.
He was rolling with Ian, and I know Ian is his toughest match. Like, I see it in his face that he...
Because Ian is a young adult, not a child.
Right. But he beat Ian both competition matches. Both of them.
Heck
Only
yeah.
by points, not
But
by
that's
submission.
okay.
But man, it was cool to watch. He got Ian in his back control, and Ian was stuck in back for 2 minutes. And I looked at Ian, because Ian's like our little brother, right? So, like, I'm rooting for Lucas, because he's fantastic on the mat. He's a yellow belt. He's doing great. He's showing improvement. But then I'm also rooting for Ian, because he's like a brother to us. Like, literally almost a brother to us. His mom is dating my dad.
Yes.
So
he would be a stepbrother, maybe.
If they were to...
If
they
anything.
got married, yeah.
If anything happened, I don't know.
So, we're rooting
we're talking
for
about
both
marriage
of them.
today, right?
Right.
No. Okay, let's not curse or jinx that.
No. But I was working with Ian in the adults class after the kids class ended, and I was just like, so, we gotta work on getting out of back control, huh? He's like, yeah, that sucked.
Ah, yeah. And that's the difference of a yellow belt to a white belt. You know, they always say every 10 years is a different belt, and every 10 pounds is a different belt difference. But they're close in weight, close in age.
Yeah, I think Lucas is 13 and Ian's 15.
Yeah, so...
or Lucas might be 14 now, but they're just like a year and a half apart. Like, they're not that far.
But he's like 4 or 5 belts ahead of him, yellow to white.
And he's smaller, too.
And he's a little bit smaller. So it's a really good matchup for both of them. And I'm
he's
excited.
only, like, 10, 15 pounds lighter. Like, it's not, like, a huge difference. They're a very good match for each other.
Yeah.
But Lucas has got the skill, and Ian's got the size. So it's very cool to watch them grow together.
Yes. Which is a great motivator, like I said.
Yeah.
It's super fun to be a coach, and even to assist through, like, a seminar or something, or be the instructor's helper. Like, a lot of times when your dad teaches beginner class and there's too many for him to just walk around and help, I'm the assistant and help people also. Yep. And I have a really fun time doing that.
Yep, I do the same, but for girls.
Yeah.
I pretty much...
Because you can relate.
Yeah, I really just go find, like, the newest girl that I can, and that's who I go work with every beginner class. I don't even care who it is. As if they're the newest one, I'm more than likely working with you. Because I want to help you get more confident. Because then by the time that you do have, like, a stripe on your belt, you probably do have a little bit more confidence in your style.
Yeah.
Not saying you don't need help, but...
Right. But you were talking about that in the all-women's episode that I was kicked on.
Well, that was episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. That it's hard for a woman to get comfortable rolling with men right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just super weird because no other sport is that close contact between men and women.
Unless you're wrestling. Like,
right.
Rosie was a wrestler, and she
right.
had to roll with men.
Yeah, but I mean, like, grappling in general.
Yeah.
Is different in that aspect.
Right, but, like, everything else is very, like, co-ed, or not co-ed based. Soccer
not
is, but you're still not, like,
but
on
exactly,
top of each
right.
other.
Like, maybe you might bump into each other, but you're not like, I'm going to put my face on your hips.
Yeah.
And get a double under, and where does my head go?
Exactly. So I do want to apologize up front right away, too, to anyone who's listening to this and doesn't know us personally or doesn't know people at Fluid personally. I know we've been dropping a lot of names on this episode, but we are talking about motivators, and when you work with your training partners, those are who motivate you.
Yes.
So, again, I apologize to anyone who doesn't know who we're talking about when we say Ian, Lucas, Isaac, Steve, all these people. Okay. But just, it's kind of to get your brain thinking, like, who do you train with? Who motivates you? Like, not what, but who? Like, who do you look forward to rolling with? Right.
If jiu-jitsu, anything that's a solo act or sport, you don't have that driving motivator. You have to motivate yourself to do those things.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of times at work, when you set a project for yourself, it's like, But if you have a team project, you guys are going to get that done faster. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to hold each other accountable to, why didn't you come to this meeting? Why didn't you come to class? Mm-hmm. Why aren't we doing this yet? Where's your progress on this?
Yep.
Right? So being in a team in general is a huge motivator. Mm-hmm. And people don't think of jiu-jitsu as a team sport.
Oh,
but
totally
you can not train jiu-jitsu properly by yourself. Right? You compete as an individual, but you train as a team.
Mm-hmm. And training with everyone is so different, too.
Yeah, you get your different body types. I cannot talk today.
That's okay.
Different body types, different styles of jiu-jitsu, different types of techniques, different variations. And that's what really makes jiu-jitsu an art also, is the creative input of every individual on every technique.
Yeah.
Which I love. Which is another motivator.
I feel like we've talked a lot in a broad spectrum of what motivates us, like going and people and things like that. But what is your biggest motivator? Like, what keeps you going?
I don't want to lose a match because I didn't train enough. But besides competition, because that's a huge factor of why I love jiu-jitsu, is because I still am able to compete. But besides that, I love the prospect of a never-ending journey of learning. Because, I mean, in any area of life, you can say, okay, I'm never going to learn everything I can know about it. But most things, if you spend a year or two doing that thing, you're going to become an expert pretty quickly. And then if you want to be a master of your craft, maybe in 5-10 years, you'll be a master of it. And then unless you're an innovator and are literally inventing new aspects of that topic, you're probably going to stagnate at that point.
Yeah.
Unless you're like the best in the world and are working with it, the best people in the world to come up with new stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like the art sense of jiu-jitsu makes it so broad, and you got to remember every joint is like, and every point of your body is an exponent of the amount of moves that you can do in jiu-jitsu, right? So we got our wrist that we can move this way, this way, this way, this way, and then our elbow, and then our shoulder, and then our neck, and then our other joints, you know. So we've got like nearly millions of possibilities of movements of our body with another person's body, because she's also got all these joints. Mm-hmm. Right? Not all of them is advantageous. Not all of them works well. Some of them work really well. But there's all those different possibilities that you can play with and figure out.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So the never-ending journey, I find, is a huge prospect that motivates me to see what is possible in the future. And the rate and growth of jiu-jitsu over the last, 5 years has been on the up part of a bell curve.
Incredible. It's insane.
Yes.
I would say 5 years ago, a lot of people in the world have never even heard of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
But now I would say a lot of people in the world have at least heard the word.
Right. And there's talk of, maybe it'll be an Olympic sport one day.
Yep.
Things like that, like judo is. And the internet resources of jiu-jitsu makes people learn jiu-jitsu like exponentially more than just going to the blue belt that's 2 hours away once a month.
Yeah.
Like it was 10 years ago.
Jiu-jitsu school program.
I should?
We should.
What kind of... like...
Well, they have a wrestling program. Why don't we just go in there and apply and be like, we'll start a new extracurricular activity for you guys.
Yes. I'm down.
That'd be fun. That's my idea for the day.
I was thinking about that, which we can talk about that some other time. But but in the wrestler off season, at the in the future, the schools that are near our gym, we can go to the wrestlers off season and be like, hey, for the off season, we have this deal for you, and we'll teach you jiu-jitsu that applies to wrestling.
That'd be cool.
Heck yeah.
Coming up with lots of ideas to teach jiu-jitsu in all these different forms and ways, other than just a traditional pay for a tuition and go to school. Right. Trying to plan the world's largest open mat. I told Nick that we should get Josh and Megan to go to Africa with us and go teach underprivileged kids jiu-jitsu. And
okay, yeah, I'm down.
I said that and you were like, I would do that. And you were like, and Josh would do that. We could do that. So now that's on the back of my mind where I'm like, maybe in 2022 we should plan a trip to Africa and do that because that sounds freaking awesome. But
okay,
all these ideas, all just learning and teaching and being able to pass down. And like we said, when you're teaching it and you have to articulate your words, it makes you better. Yes. It makes you think. And I was just talking to Miguel about that too, about how, because he used to be the kids coach, and I told him, I actually thanked him this week, that he's the reason that I can teach the way that I do to the kids, because I watched him for so long and he did it so well that I now have taken on little bits and pieces of the way that he has for a style. And I told him, and he was like, no, that's all you. And I was like, no, Miguel, like, it was literally because I watched you for so long. So I appreciate you and I thank you very much.
Thanks, Miguel. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
But I had to say...
So teaching is a huge motivator for me.
Yeah.
And the never-ending journey.
Right. So my biggest motivator, and this may change over time, but it has been my solid motivator for probably the past year, and it's it makes me like smile thinking about it and laugh because it's not anyone else's goal. It's like just me and me alone in this 8 billion population world, but I am just trying to be a better training partner for Ellie.
Oh, yeah?
That's literally my goal in life.
That's awesome.
In my jiu-jitsu life is Ellie and I are like each other's backbone for everything. And she's a completely one belt ahead of me. Like she's a 4-stripe blue belt and I'm now a 4-stripe white, but I was a 3-stripe white for the last 6 months, 7 months. So she is clearly more defined in her technique and she's quicker and she's just better than me. There's no denying that. But she makes me better, and she consistently tells me how I make her better because we're the same weight, and we are just each other's greatest motivators, I think.
Yeah, it's the closest to realistic that she can get if she wants to compete.
Yeah, for sure. So
that's super awesome.
We have each other, and it honestly, like, I can't even tell you the amount of times that I will practice a move, and I hope she's watching this and smiling right now, but like there's so many times that I practice a move, and I'm like, I can't wait to do that on Ellie. Like, I can't wait to try that on Ellie. Or, dang, Ellie gets me in that. Now I know how to defend it. She's never going to get me in that again.
That's awesome.
Like, I say it probably on twice a week.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I love rolling with Ellie. Ellie and I get in the weirdest positions. Mm-hmm. It's so fun.
It's because you're both Granby rollers.
No. Did I show you that video of that dude inverting on his head? Did a headstand?
Yeah.
I did that this week.
Of course you did.
I was like, I need to try this. And I had him in my legs, and I was going for an arm bar, and he postured and stood up. And I just rolled up on the tip of my head and did a headstand trying to arm bar him. And I was like, wow, this is easier than I thought it would be.
Yep.
But if I were in the streets, he would just pick me up and break my neck.
In the streets?
In the streets! Yeah. Yeah, so I always got to remember that when I'm doing inverted shit in jiu-jitsu, that if somebody wanted to kill me, all they have to do is just drop their weight on me while I'm inverted and break my neck.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I got to make sure I don't go inverted in the streets.
No
but
bueno.
Right now I'm training inverted so much because I can't be on my knees because it's still sore. So I'm not sweeping people and getting to the top. I'm sweeping them, basically rolling under them and trying to pick something to submit. And you get more options when you're inverted because you can use your legs versus just using your arms. Mm-hmm. And my legs are more stronger.
Yay! Our air came on. So, sorry about the background noise.
Yeah, that's what edit's for.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think jiu-jitsu in itself is a motivator. And I think you find out about yourself very early on if you are committed enough that just trying to better yourself and better your moves and be a better grappler than you were last week is just a motivator in itself.
The never-ending journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I don't understand how people get the blue belt blues. I just don't get it because there's so much. Like, there's just so much you can do.
Well, you haven't been a blue belt yet, so you can't say that.
I mean, that's true. You're very right. But at the same time, it's like, I know that there are millions of things that I have so much to work on.
Yes.
Like, even the moves that I am confident in, I would get smashed by a purple belt. Like, just completely smashed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that is the blue belt blues. The Dunning-Kruger effect, I believe it's called. And you've seen that chart, right? So you learn. Mm-hmm. You feel like you know everything. And then there's a point where you realize, oh, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
And then it's a slow burn from that point forward. And the bottom, after that high of, I'm a blue belt. Most people, when they get a blue belt, they're like, shit, I'm good now. I know everything, right? And then they still continually get smashed. And then they're like, oh, shit, I was wrong. And then they're like, oh, shit, I don't know shit. And then they're like, I keep getting smashed and nobody's being nice to me because I'm not a white belt anymore. And I don't know if I can keep getting smashed every day. I thought I was good at this. That's where the blue belt blues come in.
I know I'm not good at this.
Yes, and that's the thing. You already have that mindset, which is great because you're not going to bring any ego into your blue belt. Mm-hmm. And then you're not, when you get smashed, because it's not if, it's when you get smashed, you're not going to feel inadequate as a blue belt and then feel like you shouldn't show up and get smashed again.
Yep.
And that's where the blue belt blues comes from.
And I think it's ego, like you said.
Yes.
Because there's even people who, it doesn't matter what color belt you are, if you have more stripes and you're the same color belt as someone else that you're rolling with, you automatically in your head are going to think you're better because you have more stripes or you've been training longer or whatever that.
Right. But that doesn't mean shit.
Right. And that's where I was thinking about it when I got tapped out by Abro, and that was like 2 weeks ago. He just got his first stripe, so congratulations.
Woo!
But I got tapped out by him, and it was legit. Like, I did not put myself there. Like, he actually tapped me out, and I got up, and I had a huge smile on my face, and I was so happy about it, because I was like, that was freaking awesome. But I was also thinking in that moment, I'm like, you know, a lot of 3-stripe white belts would not enjoy that.
Yeah, they would be pissed. They would go home. Some people might cry.
Yeah. Some people would be like, I'm supposed to be better than him. How did I let that happen?
Exactly.
And me, I was just like, he's good and I sucked at that point, so let's keep going. Let's keep moving on.
Yeah.
And then Ellie told me, remember I said Ellie's a 4-stripe blue and he was a no-stripe white at this time, and she said, yeah, Abro and I, we have a running tally of who has the most submissions and he's winning. And I was like, it's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I remember like a couple weeks ago, Steve tapped me out in the armbar. Mm-hmm. And I was like, shit, that was awesome.
Yeah, Steve tapped me out a couple weeks ago too, and I thought it was really cool. Yes. But that's all ego. Like, we have the ego to, like, no ego, I guess I should say, to know that.
We have the humility.
Yeah. Yep, to know that, well, we just won't let ourselves get in that position with him anymore.
We just learn from it.
Yep.
Right. Like, oh, okay, I can't let that happen.
And then be super freaking proud of the person who did it.
Yes, especially if they're a lower belt than you. It's super awesome.
Yep.
But it's super funny that we have that mindset, because the head instructor of our school is the complete opposite of that. Brenton. He says, I've only been tapped out 10 times since I've been black belt.
He's still mad at Dave.
And I'm not going to let it happen again.
He's still mad at Dave.
Yeah.
That was over a year ago.
He's, nobody can tap me out. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's Brenton.
Yep. Sounds about right.
But that's fine. That works for him. He can make it happen, I guess. But if he does get tapped out, he gets upset.
Yeah.
Which, that's where blue belt blues can come in.
Yeah.
You know, if that happened to him every time he rolled, I don't know if he'd keep rolling.
Yeah. Do you have the blue belt blues?
Yes, I'm done, actually. This is my last jiu-jitsu session ever.
did 20 sessions last week. I'm done now.
It was too much. I can't do that. No, I have the blue belt addiction where I'm like, I want more. I would live at a gym. Just live there. Morning classes, night classes. This Thursday, 8 sessions of training.
You're stupid.
So there was over 8 hours of training I did on Thursday. Half of it was teaching, half of it was learning and rolling. I love that.
Yeah.
That shit motivates me so much.
Yeah. And that's where all the training comes in too. But I think, so I don't know if you guys have listened to the Joe Rogan and Gordon Ryan podcast yet. If you haven't, I highly suggest it.
Yeah,
it was very good. Great
episode.
But I think the biggest thing that stood out for me, which is, again, a huge motivator, is that Gordon Ryan had made a comment.
Gordon Ryan. Oh, that's how John Danaher says his name.
Oh, okay.
Gordon Ryan.
Okay.
Gordon Ryan escaped the malt.
All right. Anyway, so Gordon Ryan had made a comment saying that every 6 months you're a completely different grappler, as long as you're staying consistent. Like, if you haven't trained in 6 months, you're going to be the same. But...
Really? Actually, you're probably going to be worse.
Yeah, you'll have some rest.
Okay.
But, anyway, so you are a completely different grappler every 6 months. And that resonated with me so much because I think back to me 6 months ago, and I'm like, yeah, I would have kicked my butt.
Yeah, I can beat the shit out of Nick 6 months ago.
Yeah, or I look at my old competition videos, and I'm just like,
oh, yes.
I don't do that anymore. Like,
yeah.
why would I turn that way?
That's so dumb.
Right. And you transitioned so much in a 6 month period, and it doesn't matter if you're white or black. Like, you really just, you are totally different. And I know Ellie posted a picture of us from about 2 years ago, and she was just turning blue, and I had just gotten my white belt, and like we were both just like, we would have kicked those broads' asses at this point. Like, it's insane.
Oh, yeah. Yes, and that's the power of just showing up, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody learns at a different pace. Okay, there's no need to compare yourself to other people at your gym, and everybody learns in different ways. So you can learn visually, you can learn by doing kinesthetically, or you can learn by hearing the technique being described. But you learn at your own pace, and I forget what I was going to say with that. I got distracted.
By the time.
Yeah. But you're still going to be better as you consistently show up to train.
Yeah.
You're still going to be better than you were yesterday, much less more than 6 months ago, right? And there's a running theory. I forget exactly what it's called. But if you do something consistently for 365 days in a row, which is a year, right, you will be 37 times better than you were at the beginning of that time frame, right? And if you add that up year over year over year, it's crazy exponential. But yes, so if you do something daily and you get better at it, that's 365 times you've trained that or done that better, and you are 37 times better at the end of a year period. So yes, absolutely, in 6 months, you're at least 15 times better than you were 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about it that way.
Right.
I love it. And I really do firmly believe that if you don't have self-motivation, you won't be good in this sport. Mm-hmm. You need to have the self-motivation to be better, because if you're just there just to be there to get a workout or to just hang out with your friends or something, which are good motivators, don't get me wrong, but if you're not self-determined to be better than you were last week, you're probably not going to excel as much as you would like.
Yeah. But you still get better by showing up at least.
So I said as much as you would like.
As much as you would like, yes.
Because you're so focused on, well, I need to be good, or I'm better than that person because of my stripes or my belt, so I need to make sure that I smash them and tap them out. Or if you just have the mentality of having to be better than everyone else, you're probably not going to be.
Unless you're Brenton.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I agree totally. If you have the mindset that you're going to be better than everybody else, you probably don't belong in jiu-jitsu, because that's impossible.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about with the girls, with Ellie and Tracy on that podcast, is I could name 2 girls right away who quit jiu-jitsu because they had too much of an ego.
They're
like, I can't handle getting smashed like that. Like, I need to win. And I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Because I'm going to kill you if I start rolling with you right now because you said that.
You pissed me off, bitch. You gonna die.
It's like the kid this week, then they said they didn't like my music, and I was like, alright, you suck, Generation Z, and I just stroked her.
She deserves it.
I was mad.
Oh, that's so awesome, though.
But, yeah, and then you also have to stay humble, too. As you do rank up, and you do start getting better, and you do know that you can start beating people, you also have to know that anything could happen, and just stay humble in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yes, stay humble and play. Make sure jiu-jitsu is fun for you. Okay, that's another huge motivator for me. I just have so much fun on the mats, right? And when I'm training, not every match is a competition role. I'm training to have fun and put myself in weird positions and see what happens if I do this, see how you react if I do this. Try to get to new stuff that I saw on the internet. Try to stand on my head upside down and be like, haha, I'm in danger.
Minuscule little goal for me, too, was that I can do it now. But it was never a goal for me until I recently found out that I can touch my toes now.
Whoa.
I had never been able to touch my toes.
So what, you can sit forward and just touch your toes?
I don't think I can do that yet.
Try it. Try it right now. No pressure.
Blech.
No pressure.
I don't think I can. But standing up?
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
High five. You have become more flexible.
Yeah, so before jiu-jitsu, I was probably about here, and I just could not do it. And now I can touch my toes.
Can you put your foot behind your head? All right, let's do it.
No.
There's that one.
No, can't do that.
Okay, but next time. Maybe that's a blue belt thing.
That's what's going to motivate me.
Yeah.
I can't be a black belt until I can get my foot behind my head.
Oh, perfect.
But even just yesterday in my rolls, I was noticing that I was doing some really weird stuff with my hip movement and with my legs and with my feet, and I was getting in all these weird positions, and I was like, people don't move like this. Like, no. This is not a normal thing.
It's not natural.
So, that's a good motivator in itself, if you want to be weird.
It's a fun time to be weird, right?
Yeah. Oh, or you can get better in other places. Okay. So.
Oh.
Dad, cover your ears.
Now he's going to kill me.
I know.
Now I'm going to die again. He's going to hold it for more seconds.
It was funny because when we were rolling once, this is a couple months ago, but we were rolling once and someone was watching us and they had made a comment. They're like, I bet you they have really great sex. And I still think about that all the time. I'm like, yeah, jiu-jitsu just makes you more flexible. Probably makes you better in bed.
Well, it's a good reason to train.
No experience though, because I'm a virgin.
That's a lie.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. Yeah.
Motivating. There's so many motivators in this world. And it doesn't even have to just be for jiu-jitsu. It can be for anything. You just gotta find what motivates you and stick with it and work with it. And if something changes, then change your motivation. Yeah.
And motivation is fleeting, but discipline is something that you can rely on.
Yeah.
So if you find discipline in your training, your motivation will follow.
Yeah.
But not every day is you're going to be motivated.
Well, you can have different goals, too, that motivate you. Because I know when I was injured, I obviously couldn't roll. So I had to find different things to motivate me to keep going. Because it wasn't having to roll or getting better in my rolls anymore. It was, okay, well, I think the biggest motivator for me was I didn't want to suck when I came back.
Yeah.
I wanted to at least have a knowledge base still in my head.
Mm-hmm. And if you show up, you can still mentally train, if not physically.
And I also didn't want to lose my schedule.
Yeah.
So if I stayed home and sat on the couch and watched Netflix my entire time while I was injured, rather than sticking to going to the gym when I normally do, then by the time I was ready to go back, I probably wouldn't be training as much. I probably would go like once or twice a week before I could start getting back up into my regular momentum.
Right. And then and that's where the discipline comes into play. When you're not feeling it, when you're like, I don't know if I should go or not, you use your discipline instead of your motivation.
Absolutely.
Discipline equals freedom. Where's my Jocko fans at? Yes.
Motivation. It's a phenomenal thing to think about if you really get in depth about it.
Yeah, it's good to understand that too, because you start to understand yourself better, and you start to understand what makes jiu-jitsu fun for you.
We never make a script for these things. We just talk. Like, we have a topic in mind, and typically we don't even talk about that topic, but we never have a script. And so, honestly, when we brought up last night, we're like, let's talk about what motivates us. And I didn't even think twice about what I wanted to talk about, because I was just going to let it flow.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we're at the end of this podcast, I don't even think we got to half of what I wanted to talk about.
Nope.
Because there's just so much. And I didn't want to have a plan in mind of what motivates me. I just wanted to think about it in the spot and be like, oh yeah, that makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So think about it.
That's the best way to live life, going through that flow.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can flow while you're doing jiu-jitsu,
flow with the go,
you're going to have a great life.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just jiu-jitsu, just life. If you can go through life like that, you've got it all.
Flow with the go.
Yep.
But think about it. Think what motivates you. Write it in the comments. Let us know.
Yes, let us know. And if you love this episode, please share it with your friends. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a good rating on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
We've
been expanding our viewers outside of Fluid, which is cool.
Yes.
Some nationwide listeners at this point, which is really
fun. I saw there was a listener in New Zealand.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Super
Hello,
cool.
New Zealand. We've been there. We love it. So.
Yeah.
All
Anyways,
right.
I love it. So thanks, guys, so much, and have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next week.